We are not there yet, man. The final map is going to be played on Entombed Valley. Let's not waste any time and just jump into the game.
Let's play this game.
ZVP round of 32 of the NASL Season 4 qualifiers. Of course, IdrA was in Season 3. Unfortunately, he did not have the best season. And the final game of the season, the game that he really had to win to stay in the league.
If he had won, he would have stayed in the league.
Yes, if IdrA would have won his last game of the season, which actually was against Lowly, he would have stayed in the league. But IdrA did not make it. He didn't play.
He said walkover.
Yep. Well, I'm not sure if that's what he said, but he wasn't there.
So now he has to play in one of the hardest qualifiers in the world.
But if he wins this, he did gain himself an extra 750 bucks.
That's
so
true.
Maybe this was all part of the master plan of IdrA. Man, if that was true.
He's got the skills. He's just like, whatever. I'll go out on purpose, win 750.
So I can win 150 bucks and stay in the league, or I can drop out of the league, win 750 bucks, and come in the league.
And win the grand prize.
Wow.
$30,000.
That would be quite a story to tell.
And a sweet trophy. Wait till you guys see our Season 4 trophy. It's going to blow your mind.
Is it going to release Krakens?
Dude, all the Krakens will be released.
I'm not sure where I should take that.
Every nerd in the world will release his Kraken when he sees the trophy.
Man, interesting opening over here by IdrA. IdRA's opening up with an extractor.
Very interesting opening. Could have something to do with the map. We've got
a wide ramp
coming from Inca.
It's a very wide ramp, but where are you going to take this, IdrA?
Yeah, very fast scout from Inca. I don't know if I like this, but we'll see. I mean, Snoot has shown us some cool bailing styles in his play, but he normally goes.
But there's often a gold. There's often a gold mineral base involved.
Often, but not always.
Yes, just 9 out of 10 times. Snoot did recently get GM.
That's right.
On Korea.
Shout out to our Norwegian buddy.
Very impressive achievement.
Snoot's a good guy.
He is. He's a very nice.
He's very sweet.
And he is very hardworking as well. He trains really a lot.
Yes, he does.
See, Inca, he scouted the pretty quick extractor, but he's not panicking yet, as he's still getting the gateway before he washed in the first cannon. Man, Inca ain't afraid either.
You know, mentioning Snoot, Kev, reminds me of just some of the funny things. Like, pro gamers can be very finicky, like very picky about how they play and their setups and things like that. And I was talking to Snoot at one of his recent events where he didn't play so well. And I was like, Snoot, man, what was up? He's like, man, Bitter. You know, I was practicing so well. I'm in the best shape of my life, but these tables, they're not for me, man. I need my table from home if I'm going to play in a StarCraft tournament.
Well, then I really hope that he has one of those tables you can fold up. Travels it all around. Man, I think that's unfair competition, because if he has like his ultimate table and the other guy has a neutral table, then imagine if like Donald Trump starts playing StarCraft, brings in that big ass desk, puts it in the middle.
Donald Trump comes with like a huge lawyer desk. Yes. It's like a huge like conference room, like 32 chairs.
Weights like 2,000 kilograms. Donald Trump is like, all right, you think this is a freaking game? Man, that would be cool.
Now, IdrA is not doing anything crazy, Kev. He stopped mining gas after 100. He got Zergling speed. It's going to be a Speedling expand against this Forge expand. And, yeah, I mean, that's kind of going to put him in a really tough spot.
Then again, this is going to make Inca perhaps a little bit paranoid about what's going on. So I don't think he's going to chrono boost as many probes as he would normally do. I mean, it does often throw Protoss players off a little bit. Like, Inca's probably looking at it as well. He's like, okay, so IdrA out of all people open up with an extractor. I'm pretty damn sure that Inca knows IdrA.
You would think that Inca would be scared, but he's making a Stalker, not a Sentry.
Yeah, so maybe he's not that scared. He's just not afraid.
IdrA has not gotten back on gas. He is still just droning, so it doesn't look like he's doing anything.
But it's crazy. Not. I mean, he's still getting a third baseman at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Yes, he has a little bit less drones than he normally has. He's still 6 workers behind. Normally at 6 minutes 10 seconds, you could say that Zerg is about to get even with Protoss, and that's going to be a little bit late right now. But the good thing is, he does have speedlings on the map, so that 4-gate pressure that Inca perhaps wants to do normally on a map like, well, seems like he just wants to go up to 3 bases, so I have no idea actually.
No, this is a big risk, Kev. This Overlord is going to spot this, and if Inca throws down the Nexus...
But you can wall this off very easily though, and then he can take out the rocks.
That's also true. We'll see how Inca chooses to play it. IdrA did make one more round of Zerglings. He's now got 10 lings out on the map, and he's looking for these gateway units. He's not going to find them, though, as Inca has safely made it back to his ramp. Nexus does go down, so IdrA should just make a straight beeline to that expansion.
Oh, and he's actually going to run. Oh, it was so close. But the units
he can still kill the gateway and get right in.
Units are liberated out of position. I do think that this gate will fall. He's going to focus it right now. Yes, these Zerglings will get in. Well, force field goes down. He picks up the pro.
IdrA, if you just control this correctly, you can kill all these units.
He's out of range of the cannon right now. He's probably going to try to surround the Zealot immediately. That's what he does. We'll end up losing a few links. I don't think he has enough damage in his little army to kill the Nexus.
It's going to depend a little bit on whether or not he can catch the Stalker. Inca's microing really nicely.
With additional weapons.
Now he can warp in, you're right. Another cannon's going to go down.
Man, these Zerglings checked into the wrong hotel, man.
Hotel California. You
no,
can check
this is
in,
more
but
like
you can never leave.
This is more like Hostel 2.
They call it Entombed Valley for a reason.
This is like Hostel 3.
This is like the Human Centipede.
Ew. Not that movie. Anything but that movie. But during all this, IdrA did distracted Inca by quite a bit, and now 14 more drones are on the way. So IdrA is still going to be in a very good economic position, and Inca is going to have to be very passive for a long time. He's even going to pick up a sentry.
Yes, he will. Might even get a second one. Nope, not going to fall.
But he did pick up one sentry. That's nice. And IdrA is starting to look really good over here on Entombed.
It's picking up. He's got a nice, healthy worker lead, but the real difficulty on Entombed is once Protoss gets up to 3 bases, how do you attack him ever? You just can't. So you're forced to play a very passive macro game.
That is true, but the bigger problem for Protoss then again is the 4th base. Now it's not super far away from the 3rd base in general, so it's not impossible. But the moment a lot of Broodlords and Infestors go out, this is a very, very annoying part of the map for Protoss players to deal with, because that's often where Broodlords will start idling or floating above, and then it's going to be a lot harder to deal with Broodlords.
Now speaking to IdrA's mechanics and his macro, I love that we've got the macro hatchery completed now. He's working on, it's going to be 5 hatcheries, 4 bases. I would like to see, Kevin, one more macro hatch. I know it sounds crazy.
You're crazy, man.
I think he can afford it, and I think he should put it down. If we look right now, he's used up almost, okay, he's got 13 more larvae, so he could still produce, I guess he's just trying to wait and decide what he wants to make.
So great.
He's working on 76 drones right now against the 61 probes of his opponent.
Did it went cray. Nah, it's starting to look good for IdrA. I think one more macro hatch right now would be perhaps a little bit over the top. But other than that, he looks really good. He looks like he's in complete shape. I guess it's just a matter. Wow, I was just about to say, I think it's just a matter of time before this morphs into an overseer. Right when I selected 6 cents over there, and he's gonna use that overseer to get a much better scout off than he did before. Man, that was like the sickest timing of all time. People will think that I've seen this game before, but I haven't.
This is not the first ZVP Kevin has ever casted.
Nope. Certainly not IdrA.
Certainly not. We got to cast him winning the IEM World Championship in China.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was a great tournament. With, according to you, still the best games that you casted all time. IdrA versus Puma, which really worked.
I think at this point I've casted some better games, but that was still one of my most memorable.
Man, you hyped that series up so much.
That game was so sick, man. It was perfect ZVT.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Yeah, it was good by IdrA. It wasn't all that good by Puma. You hyped that game up so much.
Man, it was
I never dared to tell you because it's kind of like telling my
it was the best game ever played.
I really felt that if I would tell Ben that game was really not that good, it's kind of like when you have children and you would tell them Santa Claus doesn't exist. Like, I really felt it was going to crush Bitter's heart, so I never really dared to tell him that.
Dude, you're so crazy. That was the best game ever. It was the most refined ZVT that has ever been seen.
Yeah, it was
perfect. It's impossible to win on Shattered Temple. Not only did IdrA win, he crushed.
It was a good game by IdrA, absolutely no doubt.
It was brilliant.
But it was not all that good by Puma.
Pure genius. Look at IdrA's mechanics right now. His queens have less than 10 energy each, except for the one in his natural and the one in his 3rd.
And the 2 in his main?
No, they're doing it too. They're doing good.
Yeah, he can transfer one of those queens from his main actually to the 4th base. I kind of wonder why he didn't do that yet. Other than that, it is looking good. This army is a little bit scary though by Inca, but 7 Infestors are on the way. And with those 7 Infestors, IdrA should be more than fine. He also has excellent crew spread.
This is scary. Yeah. The Infestors coming, but not that many
we're going to see
units.
Quite some Banelings over here as well, Ben. We're going to see Fungal Growth and Banelings. This is a little bit similar to Blink's push. I mean, the timings are a little bit off. IdrA is actually just going to try to make a fight happen. Fungals do land. Banelings.
A couple Fungals are going to go down, but the Banelings are not really going to connect.
More Fungals and all the sentries.
Those are great Fungals.
Wow. Actually, everything is going to die for the Protoss player.
Yeah, IdrA just swarming in. This is a great place to fight. So much open area.
Yeah, so much
Inca
grip.
Caught in the middle of the map is going to be punished badly. IdrA is now going to go up 80 supply, Kevin. Uh-oh.
Whoa, it's even...
I think it might be happening.
That he's going to release it?
I think he's about to release the Kraken.
Ultralisk Caverns on the way as well. Inca did absolutely nothing with this War Prism. Very interesting choice of units by IdrA, but it worked out perfectly against the unit composition that Inca had.
And it's so great by IdrA while fighting to spot that warp prism and to react to it. The Queen responded to it. He dropped the Spore Crawler.
Yeah, no, I must say that Inca was not paying super much attention to that. It's still going to be a big warp in, so this time these zealots will land, and Inca will be able to buy himself a little bit of time. I love that he's picking up those units because I think he's aware of the fact that those zealots were not going to be able to get a whole lot done. But what he did do is force IdrA to come back to his side of the map, and Inca will be able to enjoy, at least for a little while, that 4-base Protoss economy. And
we're going to see Ultralisk, Zergling, Baneling, Infestor.
How many?
This is such a strong late game army composition. We can get openings.
And there's only one Robo ban on the map. I really think that Protoss needs double Robo.
Inca really trying to do some harass, but but IdrA is continuing to shut it down.
I really think all he wants to do is just keep IdrA away, because he knows that if IdrA is going to march across the map, this army is pretty damn weak against what IdrA has.
Yeah, I mean, IdrA's army is one of the strongest fighting armies that a Zerg can get. And this is the perfect map for it, because that center is so wide open. It's going to be very, very hard for Inca to cross the map.
Inca doesn't know about Ultralisk. I think he's quite worried about Broodlords. That's why he's getting a fleet beacon. Wants to get a mothership out. I think if he would have only knew that he's actually facing Ultras and not Broodlords, we would have seen a second Robo already. We would have seen Colossus Immortal Archon.
Yeah, I think that would have been a stronger fighting army composition, but it's not what we're going to get to see. A couple Stalkers are going to make their way out and start picking off some of these active creep tumors. IdrA's been great about spreading his creep.
This is even like Inca took out a lot of tumors during his push, but Inca, I mean IdrA, it's so annoying to guess IdrA with Inca. I keep mixing up the names. But IdrA kept replacing those creep tumors, doing a very good job. Force fields are not going to work against all these Banelings because the Ultras are here.
What a great engagement from IdrA. Ultras leading the charge.
Great storms though, very, very good storms.
Beautiful storms, catching a lot of the Banelings, but the Ultras are going to continue to march forward. Banelings are all in the back. Does IdrA get the connections that he wants? Finally he does. But is there enough left over? A few roaches just attacking in a simulator. That's not really what they want to do.
Inca's actually going to survive for now. With that Archon there as well, a couple of Zealots.
Need to get out of there.
Oh, the Infestors are going to fall, at least 2 of them, and maybe even all of them. There is Blink on these Stalkers if he wanted to chase, but he's not going to chase. He wants to deal with his roaches first. Micro the Archon, Inca. Woo!
It's going
1
to
HP.
live. Wow.
1 HP Archon.
You never see a 1 HP Archon.
Oh, yes, you do.
No, dude, you never ever see
I just see a 1 HP Archon.
It's like the first time that it's ever been seen. Here it is, guys. You saw it here first at the North American Star League. The 1 HP Archon.
Does not live very long, as a couple of Zerglings run in and did kill it.
Now a 0 HP Archon.
Mothership is on the way. Very interesting, by the way, that he made the Mothership at his 4th base, the most vulnerable out of all of his bases. Don't you think so?
Also the one where it's most needed.
Yeah, but I still think that's very, very risky. Like, what is the traveling distance from here to here? But how much more likely is it to lose this Nexus than this one?
You're right. I mean, you're certainly right. It's the most exposed base. But it's also the one where IdRA's going to be fighting, so Inca just perhaps wanting to make sure that that mothership is in the fight as soon as it comes out. IdRA's still well ahead in supply. One of the problems with IdRA's army, though, is this is not an army that you can trade with.
No.
Because
you need to absolutely dominate the fights. It's not just like, oh, let me roll in some units.
It's a very expensive army. And Inca, you know, he's been doing a pretty good job of retaining these valuable units. He's got the 3 Colossi out now. He's starting to produce more Archons. He's starting to produce Immortals because he knows what he's up against. IdrA's also transitioning. He's getting a Spire. He'll eventually be trying to switch over into Broodlords.
Upgrades for Inca are going to get a lot better now, though. He's going to go up to 3-3. Oof. And this Protoss is starting to look a lot stronger right now. He's going to have
a few Banelings almost getting caught there. Stalkers.
I really think that Inca is starting to look pretty damn strong. He has the money to max out real soon. The only problem is that his gas is very low because he's been making so many gas-intensive things. A lot of High Templars, Archons, Colossus, of course, the Mothership, and the upgrades. 3 trees on the way. Now even the first shield upgrade. So this is a super gas-intensive army.
There are no sentries at all. So, I mean, granted, with Ultras out, they're not that effective. But Inca has got to land great storms to keep these Banelings from connecting with his army.
Well, he has 4 High Templars, and cannons are helping out a lot against Banelings as well. Because I really think what Inca's going to do, Inca's not going to attack until he has a super sick army.
No, he's not going to attack
until he at least has another Robo. I'm so surprised, Ben, that he still only is working off a single Robo.
I'm a little surprised that IdrA hasn't worked in any drop. When you're playing a Baneling style, drop is just natural.
IdRA's going for the big run by over here.
Probes. Going to catch these guys in transit. And
there's only one Final there, cannoning or powering 6 cannons. Here come the Ultras and all the Banelings as well. Storms.
Ultras are in front. Banelings do connect a little bit, but there's a great vortex that goes down, and I am not sure how many banelings are inside of that. And I don't think Inca is either. He's trying to decide whether or not he wants to hop in there. And I think instead he's just going to set up right outside.
Storms are going to land. Big storms here by Inca, and IdrA is going to lose almost everything.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, so that goes a lot better for Inca there. Baneling's still connected and killed a lot of stuff, though. Inca down to 160 supply. IdrA forced to try and remax. Chooses to build 7 Ultras, and I have a little bit of a problem with that.
IdrA misrallying 2 Infestors there as well. While he was riding, he's going to end up losing those 2, and suddenly IdrA is so much more poor than Inca is. And this is starting to look very good for Inca. IdrA has the entire top side of the map, but he's not very rich.
IdrA voicing a little bit of his frustration with this game, feeling like he can't do anything about this Protoss army. But, you know, honestly, Kev, instead of making 7 more Ultras, he should have made a bunch of Corruptors.
Well, I think he was just too poor in this phase of the game. That last fight went really terrible. IdrA does lose, and Inca is the player who's going to advance to the round of 16 already of the NASL Season 4 qualifiers.
So, I mean, that's...
Yes, what is it, Ben?
That's all she wrote for IdrA.
That is true.
You would love to have seen him try to use some mobility there. He kept trying to fight heads up. And there's points in the game where you can fight heads up. That one big fight that he won in the middle of the map, great engagement. Then he started throwing banelings at Archons and Immortals. I think at a point you have to start saying, okay, I can't attack from the front. I have to start doing things like dropping, baneling drop on probe lines, Zergling drops in the main base to take out, you know, infrastructure and stuff like that. Force warp-ins, spread out your opponent, try to do it that way.
I think the fight in the middle of the map was so good that after that he should have just rallied everything across the map.
Oh,
yes,
sure.
he did have that Warp Prism to worry about, and he could have taken some economic damage, but if Protoss loses that much and there are no Colossus, he's just not going to deal with that many Zerg units. There was just absolutely no way. And he didn't have to wait for Ultras. And the first fight, like the storms were absolutely key. Those force shields went down behind the Ultras, and those storms, they landed perfectly on all those banelings. And that's the fight where Inca suddenly sort of stabilized. It still looked better for IdrA, but yeah, the final fight with the Vortex, everything just went very well. Vortex is extremely good in these kind of situations. Yeah, well, it's almost always extremely good, but
just a little sad that he kept trying to force it. You know, you can still sit back, you can bank up money, and you can wait for them to attack.
He played so good because I felt he read the game very well from the start of on, and the way that he crushed that push in the middle of the map, his creep strat was excellent, his mechanics were good for a very long time. So I can understand the frustration, but it's all in the game. It ain't over, man, till the fat lady says so.